apart and get this exact arrowhead on the right, but there isn't unless you explode it, and I don't really like exploding stuff. Now, so I've kind of developed up a click sequence, is where, based on my scale, I'll click, and then I'll click somewhere about halfway down my text, and then when I come click my third point, I try and get right underneath the arrow. That way when I come set it over here, I can get pretty close to the same or nobody would see the difference. Okay, so if I'm going to get one on the right, I'm going to go up to my M leader. There's a little add leader button, you see that? Okay, so I'm going to click on add leader. It then says choose the one you want to add to. I'm going to choose here. Okay, so there's my deal. I'm going to get out a little bit like kind of before, and it looks like it's about here, and then I come back and use my cursor to kind of get me right underneath the other one. Now a little short on it, there are some nodes you can grab and edit that a little bit to make them, you want those to look as close to possible as the same as you can. Okay? Yes?
You can't mirror them or copy them
Nope.
or anything?
Nope. Not unless you explode it, then you can.
So does it have to start in the top left, come down, then go down on the right? Or can it be reversed, start top on the right, down the left? For the
You want these a mirror image of each other. So if you come this way, make this one go up.
Okay.
Whatever, yes. Okay. If you're doing mechanical and we point to a surface, we change this to a dot, don't we? How do we do that? I don't know I don't think that's worth creating a whole style over. If you just click on one, use your properties dialog box. Okay. So here is my arrowhead. I clicked on this leader line. I go to my properties under arrowhead, I'll drop that down, and I'm going to use my small dot, and set that should be fine. Okay. Dot smaller, I don't want that one. Where's my solid dot? There it is, right there. It's just dot. That will give you that level. I'm going to stop there. Probably all saying, thank goodness. It's been an hour and a half. So 18's got a lot of good stuff in there on this, on how to operate these guys. Please go through it. Hopefully things make sense. Oh, I'm not stopping here. I forgot the biggest part of today.
Homework.
Yeah, we need drawings.
Thank you.
Huh? Thank you.
You guys are going to like this assignment sheet.
We are?
Sure.
I'll wait till you tell me I'm supposed to like it.
Okay, if we look at this, let's just briefly go over this. By the way, chapter 19 is the next chapter. So once you finish 18, go to 19. The only reason I've got 19 listed is the very first part of it has a primary units tab of the dim style dialog box. That's it. Okay, so that's the only thing you need to go over. Then jump to 20, which is your editing dimensions. That's really the meat of this stuff because we place them and then we edit them to death. Okay. So 20 is going to help you out a ton on your assignments. Now, on your assignments, 1 and 2, okay, 2A and 2B, they're already drawn. They should already be corrected in your box. I would hope everybody gets a 5 on this. Okay.
Wait, what? 1, 2, 1. Hello, everybody.
Use those corrected copies, folks. Okay. So what we're looking at here is can you format, get it a 1/2 inch off, get your 3/8, got your 16th. We're looking at all that stuff to make sure it's correct, right? Okay. Whether you use a baseline, chain conventioning, so dim continue, dim baseline, all of that stuff. These should take you all about 20 minutes. Number 3, have you already drawn that one? to that scale, you already got this done. Okay. Most of you have it graded. I think when I went through the boxes, there was only 2 outstanding ones, and I'll get those graded fairly shortly. Again, use your corrected copy. This one's focusing on how we do annotative. And I don't know how many of you figured, what was our DSF of this drawing?
2.
It was metric and a scale of 1 to 2.
50.8.
Okay? Make sure you set that up because your dimensions are annotative. Now, when you place the first one off, remember we placed that one manually, right? By using dim linear to get our first dimension line a 1/2 inch off. What's that distance? 1/2 inch times 50.8.
Yeah.
Okay? And then dim baseline will do everything else after that.
Switch to 25.4.
Then we got 2 new ones down here. So 4 and 5 are new ones. This one's still called 5, but I'm going to use it for extra credit. It's a isometric. And I'll show you. We already drew this. You drew it back in 133. Okay. But now we have placed dimensions, and most of you already placed dimensions on it. Those of you that did it, it was extra credit back in that class too, I believe.
No.
You're only going to get one more drawing after this. This is pretty much it. I will give you the other drawing tomorrow after lecture. I think some of you might finish all of these today. Maybe you don't, maybe you won't. Depends. You still have your worksheet I want due today. So that's the one that's got all the variables on it. So let's finish that up. Let's turn that in. We've got a full day today. Today's Wednesday. So we should be able to do that and do the first 2 drawings today. Make all that due today. Drawing 3 will be due tomorrow, 4 next day, 5 the next day. You're going to get one more. It consists of 3 drawings. And I hope I get it out to you tomorrow. Maybe Monday.
Will you write what's due on the board?
I will.
Okay.
Any questions for me? Yes.
You want all of the multi-liter pages labeled also?
Yeah, you might as well. All you're doing is writing in the values you type in because there are no variables to get it to ANSI standards. Don't worry about the spline one, just the linear, Mech 1, multi-liter. That's the one you're going to use the most of, right?
Each year they use different
Yes. Again, you can move it through the design center because multi-liters are in the design center, or you can open each template and set your children and the multi-liters up at the same time. I would recommend that you put a spline feeder in your templates because we're going to be using those to death next semester. Anything else? Thank you for your time.
I have a question just about when we created the spline versus when we created the radius. Why was the spline not a child?
Because the multi-liter is a separate entity all to itself.
Those are in-laws.
And so we created a linear multi-liter, and then we created a spline multi-liter. You don't have children with multi-liters. You set it up for whatever you want. Any other questions? Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Make some hay today.